Good morning, everyone. And I hope I could do this in 7 minutes. All right, thank you very much, Jackie and the team here at Barbados Light and Power for inviting me to speak to you this morning. Normally at the Pan American Health Organization, we try to facilitate discussions with companies and groups, but we see the Barbados Light and Power as a very important essential services company where the welfare of its employee is critical to the people in the government of Barbados. And I would like to share whatever knowledge I have with you so that you can remain healthy and safe during this coronavirus pandemic. So the coronavirus that we'll be discussing this morning, it's a new virus. And this new virus is new to human beings. It's thought to have originated from animal source. The animal source has still not yet been identified. Began in China, as you would know from the various news releases in media, and it entered us as humans in China. The problem with this new virus is that our body is not used to it, so there's no resistance, no immune system resistance to this virus. And it can lead to severe illness and death, as you have seen in the news media. Now, to date, the majority, there is about 125,000 cases worldwide, persons affected with this new virus and the disease called coronavirus disease, or otherwise known as COVID-19. Out of this 125,000 persons globally, we had about 4,000 and odd deaths. 80% or more of this right now is in China. Okay? So out of that, we have about 60,000 of those persons reside in China, the remainder from the rest of the world. We are getting concerned more because, yes, it's become a pandemic. First, there's the declaration, what we call Public Health Emergency of International Concern, FAKE. And that declaration by the World Health Organization was simply to enable countries to put in place new measures and regulations to help fight and control the diseases, mobilize resources within countries to help fight the disease. The pandemic designation simply means that the spread of the virus through many different countries, and then within countries' community, it's a designation to let you know that this is a worldwide phenomenon. Barbados thus far has been spared. There's no case of coronavirus disease in Barbados. However, there are a number of countries within our region, our Caribbean region, that are reporting cases of coronavirus disease. And this is also within the Eastern Caribbean region. So it's coming closer and closer to home here in Barbados. Important for you, the signs and symptoms of the disease ranges from fever, which is the most predominant symptom, a dry cough. Persons may have headaches and myalgia or muscle pains and muscle aches, and shortness of breath. Now, in the severe form with shortness of breath. This can progress to what we know as lung failure, causing you to be admitted to hospital and go on a ventilator or a respirator, and can eventually present to failure of many of the organ systems in the body and eventual death. Now, the majority of cases of persons who have died from this disease are persons who are 60 years and older. Fortunately, the younger age group, the children, are spared, especially those below 19 years of age, have been spared. They have a lower risk of getting the disease, and when they do get it, it is less severe. The majority of the cases of the disease, 80% or more, is a mild form of the disease. So yes, you can get it, but in most cases, it is mild, and for those who get the severe form in that are the elderly persons, those over 60 years of age. And in addition to that, over 60, those who have comorbidities, meaning diabetes, hypertension, heart failure, kidney disease, those are the kind of persons who will normally succumb to the disease, those who have weak immune systems and weak body systems in general. Now, but the most important thing for you is that how do you protect yourself? The disease is not an airborne disease, okay? So if I was to walk into this space or walk into a room and there's someone with COVID, the likelihood of me catching that disease is low unless that person is within 2 or 3 meters of you and coughing and sneezing. Because when you cough and sneeze, the droplets, sometimes some of them you can see when people cough or sneeze, and sometimes you can't see the droplets. The droplets goes off into the atmosphere, all right, and shoots off from the person about 1 to 2 meters. And if you are within that reach 2 to 3 meters of 1 to 2 meters of that person, then you can inhale those droplets and you can get infected. If you're not within the 1 to 2 meters of that person, then what happens is the droplet goes out 1 to 2 meters and it falls to the ground. And so when that person leaves the room, that room is not, you cannot get infection from that person after the person leaves the room because it has fell to the ground. Now, sometimes it falls on surfaces, tables, doorknobs, and there's a lot that is unknown about this virus. And one of the things that is unknown is how long it stays alive on surfaces. Some people say it's known to be short, some people say it's known to be a little longer than we thought. But so this means that even though you would have left the room or the bathroom or wherever, you still have to be conscious about things you touch and people you touch. Because we keep on telling individuals that if you're going to cough, if you have a flu or cold, not only COVID, you must cover your cough. So you don't just let your germs off into the atmosphere for others to catch. If you need to cough, you use a tissue or a napkin and you put it to your mouth and nose, you cough into it, and you properly dispose of it in a garbage bin and close the lid of that garbage bin. If you don't have a tissue, do not use your hands, please. Use the bend of your elbow and cough into the bend of your elbow, okay, to prevent the droplets from getting out into the atmosphere. But not everybody's going to obey that. So, when you meet someone and greet someone, how do you know that they did not cough into their hands and then want to shake your hands? You don't know. So please, don't shake anyone's hand. All right? Greet them with a smile, with a bow, with a kick, with an elbow, with a fist, whatever. Do not shake anyone's hands. All right? This is a good practice. Maybe the Japanese knew what they were doing from a long time when they would greet people with just a simple bow. Now, the virus, even though it may be in an environment, meaning that it will be in the ear when people cough immediately, or on a surface, and it can get onto your hands. Getting it onto your hands will not make you get infected, because it cannot penetrate your skin to get into your body. What will make you get infected is when you take your hands that is dirty with the virus and put it to your mouth, your eyes, or your nose. And the acronym for that, they are saying men. All right? So avoid touching men. Avoid touching your mouth, your eyes, and your nose. Okay? And you'll be safe and you'll be free from catching the virus. All right? So what is also important is that you need to wash your hands, because the only way, if you're contaminated hands, some people's hands get dirty and you can see the dirt. With viral infections or viral secretions, you can't see it on your hands. So the only way you could be sure that your hands are clean, if you go and wash your hands frequently with soap and water. And soap and water meaning that you don't just go there and take your hands on the soap and wash it, no, at least 20 seconds, and there's a proper technique in washing your hands. And I'll probably, hopefully, share that with Jackie, that she can distribute it to most of you here, so that you can know the proper technique to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds under running water, and soap and water. If you don't have soap and water, which you will not have during the course of the day all the time, please get your hand sanitizer. Mine is in my bag. I should have brought it here. I forgot it. I normally keep it in my pocket. Get your hand sanitizer and use a hand sanitizer. Because the truth of the matter is that most people, even though you tell them to not touch men, they still cannot avoid touching their faces, putting their hands in their faces. It's almost like an instinct, right? Whether there's a scratch, itch on your nose, itch on your face, you're going to put your hands in your face. So the only way to really help protect yourself is to sanitize your hands, particularly when you have greeted someone or you have touched your doorknob coming out of the bathroom. And there are techniques that you can use in coming out of bathrooms, you go into the bathroom, wash your hand. If there's a tissue or bin next to the bathroom door exit, which we should have, is that you clean your hands, and you open the hands with the doorknob, with the tissue, and then you put it into the bin while you hold the door open with your foot, unless it's a swing door, which is good. The swing doors both ways, and you push it out your shoulder and you exit the door. So those are the ways you can prevent yourself from contracting the virus, and those are the ways you can prevent others from spreading it to others by handshakes or cough or sneeze, etc. You have to be mindful that if you are sitting next to someone in a crowded place or crowded space, or in the workplace and someone is coughing, move away at least 1 to 2 meters, and you can educate them and say, may you please, you don't mind covering your cough, or move away, all right? I know sometimes that is difficult in an airplane when you're sitting next to someone and they start to cough. You may have to change seats, but you need to advise them that, please do the right thing, cover your cough while you're coughing or sneezing. Now, if you were to travel, and this point in time, most companies and countries are asking the individuals to avoid non-essential travel. And if you have to travel, then those same measures that I just told you, you should take strongly into consideration. Because even in getting into an aircraft and sitting into the seat, someone who have just vacated that seat, the plane and sat in the seat next to you, you don't know how they are coughing or sneezing and put their hands on the seat rest. So it's good to have some sanitary wipes, Clorox or whatever wipes you have, and wipe down your seat hand rest before you sit. And do the same things with your hand sanitizers to sanitize your hand. So be careful while you travel. And if you're traveling to a country that you know there is in-country transmission of COVID, then when you return to Barbados, please be truthful. Let the health authorities know when you're answering the question on the machine. Say, yes, I've been to this country, or been exposed. Let them know. And because it's important, you will be quarantined for 14 days, fine. But being quarantined for 14 days is not a death sentence. It's actually it's a sentence to save your life and the life of others, because you have identified yourself, and all the quarantine period does, it allows the health official to monitor you to see whether or not you develop symptoms of COVID and to intervene early, and to prevent others from getting infected at the same time while your symptoms develop. Because from time of exposure, from the time you might have been exposed to the disease, to the virus, it takes about 14 days for you to show signs and symptoms of the disease. And that's why the quarantine period is 14 days, all right? To watch you while you wait away from others. Again, if you return and you start to get sick, and also sometimes you may not be stopped at the ports of entry, because some ports of entries may be porous, meaning that they don't detect that you've been to a country where there's in-country transmission of COVID. So at least if you escape the port authorities, then please do not come into the workplace. Call your employer and let them know that, hey, I have just returned from so-and-so. Either they sent you or they did not send you, you went on your own free will. Call them and say, I've just returned from this place. I don't have any symptoms, but should I come into work? And they will probably more likely tell you it's best for you to stay home. We can telework, or for those in the administrative field, stay away from home, because we don't need the rest of our critical staff becoming ill. If you come down with any flu-like symptoms, then definitely you should call the health authorities. Barbados has established a hotline for COVID. The phone number is 536-4500. 536-4500. You can call that hotline and ask any questions you have about COVID, or any concerns. Or if you have symptoms of the disease, or if you have symptoms of respiratory tract infection and you've traveled recently to a place where there is COVID, then you can tell them that as well, and they will know what to do through their protocols. So that is my brief 7-minute presentation. There are lots of misinformation out there. There are lots of fake news. There are lots of myths that are unsubstantiated. I would like to bust some of them. So, one, yes, persons in the tropics, in Africa, there are outbreaks in Africa, there are cases in Africa. There are persons in the Caribbean who can get affected by the disease. So it is not heat resistant. Persons saying that we're not going to get it because it can't exist with a temperature between so and so. That's false. Actually, a lot is not known about the disease, but that's not one of them. All right? Taking garlic and other remedies, drinking Clorox bleach, and other remedies will cure the disease or prevent you from getting it. False. Actually, drinking Clorox bleach will kill you faster than the virus would. Okay? There's no medicine or remedy that you can take to prevent you from getting the virus. And there's none that you can take to cure the virus. There's lots of work that is going on now in trying to develop vaccines. There are a number of trials that are going on now with different types of medication to see whether or not they are effective against the virus or treatment. But they have not yet been approved or certified as effective. Okay? So until such time, for your own safety, there is no medication to prevent you from getting it, and there is no medication to treat it or cure it. So when you get admitted to a hospital, it doesn't mean that you will die because there's nothing to cure it. It means that all they do in the hospital, if you're admitted, is to support your respiratory system, breathe for you while you need breathing, give you fluids because you're dehydrated to prevent your circulatory system from collapsing. And if you get an infection, a secondary infection with a bacteria, then they'll give you antibiotics to treat the bacterial infection as part of the pneumonia. Okay? So the only remedy, the only thing that will prevent you from getting the disease is to clean your hands, sanitize your hands, avoid touching men, and stopping the spread to others. Those are the main things to prevent you from getting the disease. Yes, you can build up, there are lots of other things. Yes, you can build up your immune system. Yes, you can take vitamins. Yes, you can drink lots of water. But these things don't prevent the disease. Anyone whose immune system is strong and stronger can help fight off viral infections. But that is not specific for COVID. That's a general constitutional matter. Okay? So yes, you can take your vitamin supplements and all the things that boost your immune system, etc., but they're not specific for COVID. All right? So thank you very much. That is what I have to share with you this morning. For the 7 minutes, if you have any additional questions, I'm open for any questions or concerns that I can help address here with you. Thank you.